Hi there. Welcome back to another Crafty Creations tutorial through Culpeper County Parks and Recreation. I am Samantha, as you all know, and today I'm going to walk you through a fun tutorial or craft of glass gem fridge magnets. For today's craft, we'll need the following supplies: clear glass gemstones, cardstock, hot glue, scissors, Mod Podge, optional items such as yarn, string, stamps, hole punch, or pastels. Let's get started. Take your glass gem, clear glass gem. I know these come in various colors, and you can find these anywhere. They're generally in a floral arts and crafts section. Sometimes people use them for filler in their glass vases for various things, but they work really well for this craft. And all you need to do is use your printer, and you can print color, black and white, doesn't matter. And you could even take things out of magazines and cut, any sort of image, photograph, whatever you feel comfortable or creative in which to use. But I have here some photos of babies and a cat, and I think I'm going to use the one for a cat. And you may have to practice on how you would like to do it in terms of how small, because obviously this is barely an inch in diameter. So you want an image that is going to work for you. And this one has a little bit of an imperfection. Let's use this one. So as you can see here, you can see that baby's face is magnified there, looks great, fits in that area. And so what I'm going to do is, you could, if you wanted to, trace, or you could just simply cut and estimate that circle there. And all you're doing is just cutting the image, because what you're going to do is glue it to the bottom or the flat surface of your gem. Okay. Give that a try. Let's put it back on the white paper here so you can see. That looks good. I do want to trim it down just a little more. For those of you that it would make it easier, as I said, you can certainly trace around with any pen, marker, pencil. But I think that will work just fine. Put it back on the black paper here, since we have a white background. And I am pretty happy with that. Now what I'm going to do, some of you may have made these. It's a very popular craft for kids of mixed ages. But what I'm going to do to make this slightly different is you can embellish your craft to add, in this case, flower petals. They are black, but I kind of like the black and white monochrome thing. But you can see the image in there has been glued to whatever sort of decoration you'd like to put. Same in this instance. You can also use, I have an oil pastel here, white, and it makes kind of a nice creative background on your black. For example, this could be a flower or a butterfly, whichever. Or you could use hole punches and yarn, whatever, to kind of embellish it. But I mention this now because once you have determined what your image for your glass gem is going to be, now you need to work on making a background. So I'm going to take a very thick cardstock, and I'm just going to cut a section out of it like this. And I'm going to think, okay, do I want to make individual flower petals, for example? I think so. So let's do some nice round ones like this. One there. And here, let me go back to maybe putting this back on a white background, since we have a black cloth here. But you're just going to kind of assemble things as you're creating your magnet with some flower petals here. And it could be anything, again, anything you would like. And of course it looks good just by itself. Let me get a little more here. But just to give you some creative ideas, because I personally like to make things and put your own spin on it. You've got your basic overall design, which in this case is your gem. But to add some decoration, I think that's kind of fun. Another little flower petal here. I also happen to think it's good to get in the practice of just, you know, doing things freehand or free form, so to speak. So I'm just cutting whatever sort of shape comes to mind, rounding out my edges there. And as you can see, you've got the baby's face there in the middle. And if you want to draw onto them, take your white crayon or oil pastel. And I say this one works well, but if you don't have one, if you don't have oil pastels on hand, you could use white chalk. Anything that might show up on this background. I'm just going to make some designs here like this. Whatever suits in this way. Maybe close these like this. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, just to give you another sample, what if I were to cut a simple, thinner petal like this, instead of using this one, and put that there. And I have a hole punch, just a circle hole punch, and you could maybe put, if I can see to get that in there, there we go. And I could make 2 punches. Again, you're just bringing this design to life by putting any sort of combination or individual touches. You could even use yarn. Let me cut this. And you could, these are probably too many, but you could use this to form something that might work, like so. And I will shorten it a little bit. Or maybe just even one is good, like this. You know, again, all of this is going to be glued onto the back of that magnet. So it's whatever floats your boat, as they say. So here's what I will do. I'm going to play with this design a little more and just make sure this is what I'm happy with, because then we can begin the process of gluing. Let's see. I'm even going to do one more here. Let's cut this out. Hole punches with pre-cut designs on them I think are pretty cool. If you are up for that, I could just make a leaf out of this. Like so. And you can see how this comes together in whatever way you want to create. So now take your glue mixture, or you can even use craft glue if you want, but I happen to have the Mod Podge on hand. Whatever brush, sponge brushes work really well. And You don't need a lot because you want a thin layer onto the back of your glass gem. Nice thin layer, and then take and you can just plop your image like this and use a few moments to get it lined up the way you'd like to see it. Like this. Press down. It will adhere pretty well, and I mean, I think I'm going to trim that just a little bit so that you don't see that excess paper there. But see how nice that looks? That's pretty cool. That's a little tiny face in there. So now, make sure you have your magnet ready, and what you're going to do is take your hot glue, or if you have a really hefty, strong craft glue, that would work too. And I'm going to apply some here on the surface. You don't really need a whole lot. And then you can take and start putting your pieces on like this. And like this. And I'd also mentioned, just give that a press. Hot glue works really well because it generally adheres quickly. Well, and I say this, and this kind of bumped off, but make sure you do situate, if you are putting something piecemeal, in other words, these separate little cut pieces of paper, that you do make sure you have it somewhat in the middle or the center so that it has enough surface area to adhere to, and just give that a gentle squeeze there. And let's see, where do I want to put that? Maybe put that there. Yeah, we'll do that. Another dollop of this glue here. And you can kind of feel where it's hard, so that makes it easy to kind of know intuitively where to put your glue there. But now you're ready to apply your magnet. Some glue. Take your nice round magnet, fits perfectly behind there. Look at it from the side to determine where to put that so that it's going to be underneath. And you're pretty much done. It's already sticking. Pull off any bits of the stringy glue. Flip it over. And there you have it. Your own customized fridge magnet. Simple, easy to do. Just move this out of the way. And I would just recommend, like anything else, before you start a project like this, make sure that you have printed all of your images, cut them out, what have you, and that you've cut them somewhat. And have, if you want to decorate it with paper, yarn, string, whatever, have those handy, and have your magnets handy so that when you pick up your heated glue gun or have your glue in hand, you are ready to go. And that's pretty much it. So I would encourage you to make some, show us your creativity, and send us some samples of your work. We'd love to see it. So thanks, and stay crafty. We'll see you next time.